Listen closely, because this is not just another message you happen to find. This is a signal, a transmission, a whisper from something far older than time itself, reaching directly into the space where your soul remembers what your mind has forgotten. The March equinox was never just a date. It was a doorway. And while the world continued in its noise, its distractions, its illusions, something sacred shifted, something opened. And if you are here hearing these words, feeling that subtle pull in your chest, that unexplainable urgency rising within you, then you were never meant to miss it. You were meant to walk through it. This is the moment the sky quietly split open. Not for everyone, but for the chosen, for the ones who have been carrying a silent knowing their entire lives. And before we go deeper, understand this. You are not here by accident. If this message resonates, I recently released a powerful audiobook titled How to Awaken the Rich Mind Within You. It is not just about money or success. It is about unlocking the hidden patterns of thought that shape your reality and learning how to align your mind with the abundance that already exists around you. If your spirit feels called to expand beyond old limitations, if you are ready to awaken a deeper level of prosperity within yourself, then you may feel guided to explore it. You can find it through the link in the description below. Many who have listened say it opened their eyes to truths they had sensed all along but never fully understood. So if that quiet inner voice is nudging you, trust it, because this is only the beginning. There are doors that open for crowds, and then there are doors that only reveal themselves to those who have endured the long night of transformation. This is the final door, and it does not appear with noise or spectacle. It reveals itself in silence, in subtle shifts, in the quiet dismantling of everything you thought was stable. You may have felt it already. The strange sense that something is ending. Yet nothing external has fully collapsed. That is because this door is not outside of you. It is within you. It opens when you are no longer who you used to be, but not yet fully who you are becoming. This is the threshold of ascension, and it requires everything. Not your perfection but your surrender. Not your certainty but your trust. And if you feel disoriented, if you feel like the ground beneath your identity is dissolving, understand this. You are not falling apart. You are being prepared to walk through something irreversible. There is a frequency moving through you right now that your logical mind cannot fully grasp. It comes in waves. Sometimes as restlessness, sometimes as deep stillness, sometimes as emotion that rises without a clear cause. And you may have asked yourself, what is happening to me? But the truth is, nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. This is the recalibration of your entire being. The March equinox did not just shift the external world. It activated an internal realignment that is pulling you into your highest timeline. And the reason it feels unfamiliar is because you are stepping beyond the limits of who you were conditioned to be. This is not chaos. This is initiation. You may have noticed it. The quiet distance forming between you and things that once felt essential. Conversations that used to engage you now feel empty. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel heavy. Even relationships, ones you once held tightly, now seem to exist in a different frequency than your own. And this detachment may feel unsettling, even painful at times. But listen closely. This is not loss. This is elevation. You are not being stripped of meaning. You are being freed from misalignment. The final door cannot be entered while carrying attachments to outdated versions of your reality. And so the universe gently and sometimes not so gently begins to loosen your grip. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Have you noticed how time feels different, not faster, not slower, but stretched as if there are gaps between moments that didn't exist before? You may find yourself pausing more, drifting into stillness without trying, feeling drawn into spaces where nothing is happening, and yet everything feels present. This is not distraction. This is not dissociation. This is your consciousness expanding beyond linear perception. The silence you feel is not emptiness. It is a doorway. And in that doorway, you begin to sense something vast, something eternal, something that has always been there, waiting for you to notice. There will be moments when emotion rises within you like a tide, unexpected, unprovoked, undeniable. You may feel joy so deep it almost aches, followed by sadness that seems to come from nowhere. And your mind will search for reasons, for explanations, for something to anchor these feelings to. But there is no single cause. Because what you are experiencing is not just your own emotion. It is the release of everything you have carried consciously and unconsciously across time. This is purification. This is clearing. This is the soul making space for something greater. Do not resist it. Do not suppress it. Let it move through you. Because every wave that passes is bringing you closer to alignment. You may feel an urge to withdraw, to step back from the noise, from the expectations, from the constant interaction that once felt normal. And this may confuse you. It may even make you question yourself. But understand this is not loneliness. This is recalibration. The final stage of ascension requires a period of inner alignment that cannot occur in constant external engagement. You are being called inward not to escape the world but to meet yourself beyond distraction. And in that meeting everything begins to change. What once went unnoticed now feels undeniable. The energy of people, places, even thoughts becomes amplified. You can sense when something is off even if nothing is being said. You can feel the weight of environments that are not aligned with your frequency. And at times this sensitivity may feel overwhelming, but it is not a burden. It is a gift. It is your awareness sharpening, your perception expanding, your soul recognizing truth beyond illusion. And with this awareness comes responsibility. The responsibility to choose what you allow into your space. There is something guiding you now. Something subtle yet undeniable. It does not shout. It does not force. It gently pulls. You feel it in the quiet decisions, in the sudden knowing to go somewhere, to step away, to say no when you once said yes. This is not coincidence. This is alignment in motion. The final door does not open through effort alone. It opens through resonance. And this invisible thread is adjusting your path in real time, weaving you toward what is meant for you while quietly removing what is not. Trust it even when it does not make sense. Especially when it does not make sense because logic cannot map a path that was written beyond the limits of your current awareness. There will come a moment, or perhaps it has already begun, where you look at yourself and feel unfamiliar. Not in a way that frightens you, but in a way that unsettles the parts of you that were built on survival, on adaptation, on fitting into a world that never fully understood you. The roles you played begin to dissolve. The masks you wore feel too heavy to carry. And you may ask, who am I becoming? But the deeper truth is this. You are not becoming. You are remembering. The final ascension stage is not about adding more layers. It is about removing everything that was never truly you. And yes, this can feel like a loss. But it is not the loss of self. It is the return to it. There is a pressure building within you. A sense that something is about to break open. Something that has been held back for far too long. It may feel like urgency, like tension, like a quiet intensity that you cannot release. But listen closely. This pressure is not meant to crush you. It is meant to refine you. Just as a diamond is formed under immense force, your essence is being compressed into clarity. Everything unnecessary is being pushed out. Everything false is being exposed. And what remains is something unshakable. Your nights may no longer feel like simple rest. Your dreams become vivid, symbolic, sometimes overwhelming. You may wake up with fragments of visions, emotions that linger, messages you cannot fully decode but cannot ignore. And even in waking life, you may find yourself drifting into altered states, moments where reality feels layered, where time feels fluid, where your awareness expands beyond the physical. This is not imagination. This is activation. Your consciousness is learning to move beyond limitation, to access dimensions of understanding that were previously hidden. Pay attention. There is guidance here. Things you once accepted without question begin to feel hollow. Systems, structures, beliefs that once seemed solid now reveal their cracks. You begin to see through the surface to recognize the patterns, the conditioning, the illusions that have shaped collective reality. And this realization can be both liberating and isolating because once you see, you cannot unsee. But understand this clarity is necessary. The final door cannot be entered while still anchored to illusion. You are being shown the truth not to overwhelm you but to free you. There is a knowing rising within you that does not come from external information. It does not come from books, from teachings, from validation. It simply is. You feel it in your chest, in your gut, in the quiet certainty that whispers, "This is real. This is happening." And even when doubt tries to surface, even when the mind attempts to question it, this knowing remains steady, unshaken. This is your inner alignment, locking into place. This is your soul recognizing the path it chose long before you were aware of it. As you approach the threshold, something else may arise. Fear. Not the kind that protects you from danger, but the kind that tries to pull you back into the familiar. It may whisper doubts, create hesitation, amplify uncertainty. And this is not a failure. This is a test because the final door does not open for those who are fearless. It opens for those who move forward despite the fear, who trust the pull more than the resistance, who choose alignment over comfort. And if you are feeling this fear, it means you are closer than you think. There is something you can no longer ignore. A calling, a direction, a truth that continues to surface no matter how many times you try to set it aside. It may not be fully clear yet. It may not have a defined shape, but it is there, persistent, unyielding. And the more you resist it, the stronger it becomes. Because this is not a suggestion. This is destiny. The final ascension stage is not just about internal transformation. It is about external alignment. Stepping into what you were meant to do, meant to be, meant to embody. And once this pull becomes undeniable, there is no going back. And now you are standing closer than ever before to something that cannot be undone. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it pressing against your awareness. The threshold where time itself begins to bend. Moments start to overlap. Memories feel present. Future possibilities feel closer than your past. This is not confusion. This is expansion. The illusion of linear time is loosening its grip on you. And as it does, you begin to realize something profound. You are not moving toward your destiny. You are aligning with a version of yourself that already exists. The final door is not a beginning. It is a convergence and you are being pulled into it. There may be days when it feels like everything is slipping away from you. People drift, opportunities dissolve, certainty disappears, and in those moments it can feel like you are losing control. Like something is being taken from you before you are ready. But listen carefully. Nothing that is truly meant for you can be taken. What is falling away now was never designed to cross this threshold with you. The shedding feels like loss because your human mind clings to familiarity. But your soul recognizes this as liberation. You are not being left behind. You are being cleared for arrival. There was a time when the external world dictated your direction. Voices, expectations, rules that shaped your decisions. But now something has shifted. The voice within you is becoming louder, clearer, more impossible to ignore. It does not argue. It does not beg. It simply knows. And as it rises, the noise of the world begins to fade in importance. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. Because the closer you move toward the final ascension stage, the less authority the external world holds over your truth. And the more you begin to trust what has always been inside you. You may notice something unusual. The past no longer has the same grip on you. Old wounds, old identities, old stories that once defined you begin to feel distant, almost unreal. Not because they didn't happen, but because they no longer belong to who you are becoming. And yet there may be moments where they try to resurface, where echoes of your old self attempt to reclaim their place. This is not regression. This is release in its final stages. The past is not chasing you. It is asking for acknowledgement before it dissolves completely. And once you allow it, it cannot follow you any further. Have you noticed how reality itself seems to be reacting to you differently? Synchronicities increase. Signs appear at precise moments. Encounters feel orchestrated rather than random. It is as if the universe is speaking, not in words, but in patterns. And this is not imagination. This is resonance. As your frequency shifts, your external reality begins to reorganize itself to match it. The final door is not something you force open. It is something that recognizes you when you are ready. And the signs you are receiving are confirmations that you are being seen. There is a space you are standing in right now. A space that feels uncertain, undefined, even uncomfortable at times. You are no longer who you used to be. But you are not yet fully anchored in who you are becoming. And this in-between space can feel like floating, like existing without clear ground beneath your feet. But understand this space is sacred. It is where transformation completes itself. It is where the old dissolves and the new takes form. Do not rush through it. Do not try to escape it, because this space is where the final door begins to reveal itself. There may be moments when everything within you resists what is happening. When you want to return to what was familiar, even if it no longer aligns. When doubt creeps in and asks if this path is too much, too intense, too unknown. And in those moments, it can feel easier to turn back. But listen, this resistance is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are at the edge, because breakthrough does not arrive without tension. Expansion does not occur without discomfort. And the final door, it will not open for the version of you that seeks comfort over truth. It opens for the one who is willing to step forward anyway. What once felt like a quiet nudge has now become undeniable. The call within you is louder, clearer, more persistent than ever before. It is no longer something you can ignore or postpone. It demands your attention, your presence, your willingness to act, and you may not have all the answers. You may not see the full path, but that is not required, because this call is not asking for your certainty. It is asking for your movement. The final ascension stage is not reached by waiting. It is reached by stepping into the unknown with trust. There comes a moment, quiet, almost unnoticeable at first, when something inside you settles into an unshakable truth. You cannot go back, not to the old thinking, not to the old patterns, not to the version of yourself that once tolerated what your soul has now outgrown. Even if you tried, it would feel wrong, heavy, constricting, unnatural. This is the point of no return, and it is not something to fear. It is something to recognize as sacred confirmation. You have crossed an internal line that cannot be uncrossed. The final door is no longer something ahead of you. It is something you are already standing within. For so long you believed that control was safety. That if you could just predict, plan and manage every outcome, you could protect yourself from uncertainty. But now control itself begins to feel like a limitation. The need to know everything before you move starts to fade, and in its place something deeper emerges. Trust, not blind trust, but a grounded internal certainty that you are being guided even when you cannot see the full picture. This is one of the most profound shifts of the final ascension stage, because the door you are entering cannot be navigated through control. It can only be walked through with surrender. There is a power rising within you now. Not loud, not forceful, but undeniable. It is the recognition that you no longer need external validation to confirm your path. You no longer need permission to be who you are becoming. This is your true authority awakening. And it does not come with arrogance. It comes with clarity, a quiet knowing that says, I trust myself. And as this authority strengthens, you begin to stand differently, speak differently, choose differently, not to prove anything to the world, but because you are finally aligned with yourself. And now the moment you have been moving toward begins to take shape. The final door is no longer hidden. It may not appear as something physical. It may not look like a dramatic event, but you will feel it. A shift so profound, so unmistakable that everything within you recognizes it instantly. It is the convergence of all that you have released, all that you have endured, all that you have become. And as it reveals itself, you may feel a mixture of awe and intensity, because you understand on a level beyond words that stepping through this door will change everything. Here is the truth that cannot be softened. The door is open, but you must choose to walk through it. No one can do it for you. No external force can push you across this threshold. This is the moment where your alignment meets your action. And the choice is not always easy because stepping through means leaving behind what is known even if it no longer serves you. It means trusting what you cannot fully see. It means becoming someone you have never been before. But it also means stepping into everything you have been preparing for. This is the choice that defines everything. As you stand at this threshold, you may experience one final wave, a collapse of what remains unstable in your life. Old structures may fall away suddenly. Situations may shift without warning and it can feel intense, even overwhelming. But understand this is not destruction. This is alignment accelerating. Anything that cannot exist beyond the final door must dissolve before you cross it. And while it may feel like everything is breaking apart, what is truly happening is that everything is being rearranged into its highest form. Once you begin to step forward, something within you activates fully: a clarity, a presence, a sense of purpose that cannot be reversed. You will not be able to return to doubt in the same way. You will not be able to ignore your path in the same way because you will have seen. You will have felt, you will have known. And that knowing changes everything. This is the irreversible nature of the final ascension stage. It is not something you visit. It is something you become. The moment you choose, truly choose, everything begins to move, opportunities align, paths open, guidance becomes clearer. It is as if the universe was waiting. Not for you to be perfect, but for you to be willing. And now that you are, everything responds. This is not coincidence. This is co-creation. The final door does not separate you from the universe. It unites you with it. And in that unity, you begin to see how deeply supported you have always been. And now something extraordinary begins to take shape. Not all at once, not in a way your mind can immediately map, but you feel it. A new rhythm, a new flow, a life that no longer feels forced, no longer feels like something you have to survive, but something that begins to meet you, respond to you, move with you. The heaviness that once defined your days starts to lift, replaced by a quiet alignment that guides your steps without resistance. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is the result of everything you have just walked through. The final door was never about escaping your life. It was about transforming the way life responds to you. And now you are beginning to witness it. There is a version of you emerging now. One that feels different in a way you cannot fully explain yet deeply recognize. You are no longer trying to be understood. You simply are. You are no longer shrinking to fit spaces. You stand fully present, fully expressed. And this identity does not feel constructed. It feels remembered, as if you have returned to something ancient within yourself that was always there, waiting beneath the noise, beneath the conditioning, beneath the years of becoming what you thought you had to be. This is your truth, not something you achieved, something you uncovered. And it carries a power that does not need to prove itself to anyone. When you look back now, truly look back, you begin to see it. The patterns, the timing, the moments that once felt random, painful, confusing, now reveal themselves as precise, intentional, necessary. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Every step, every delay, every redirection was guiding you here to this exact moment, to this exact version of yourself. And as this realization settles in, something shifts deeply within you. You stop questioning why things happened the way they did, and you begin to trust that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. This is where everything comes together. Not in a dramatic explosion, but in a grounded, undeniable integration. The parts of you that once felt separate, your intuition, your logic, your emotions, your purpose, begin to align into one unified presence. You are no longer divided within yourself. You are no longer searching outside for answers that already exist within. This is wholeness. This is embodiment. This is the final stage, not as an ending, but as a complete alignment with who you were always meant to be. And from this place, everything changes. The future may not be fully visible, but it is no longer unclear. There is a direction now, a knowing that guides you forward without hesitation. You do not need every detail. You do not need every answer, because you have something far more powerful. You have alignment, and alignment does not require certainty. It creates it. The path ahead will continue to unfold step by step, moment by moment. And each step you take will feel more natural, more supported, more true than anything you have experienced before. This is what it means to move in harmony with your destiny. There was a time when you looked outward for answers, for validation, for something to tell you who you are and where you should go. But now that search has ended because you have found something within yourself that cannot be taken, cannot be shaken, cannot be replaced. Your power not as something loud or dominating but as something steady, rooted, undeniable. It is the power of knowing. The power of being. The power of standing in your truth without needing to justify it. And once this power is realized, it changes the way you move through everything. And here is the truth. The one that reveals itself only at the very end of this journey. The final door you believed you were moving toward was never outside of you. It was never something separate, something distant, something you had to chase. It was always within you, waiting for you to become aligned enough to see it, to feel it, to step into it. The March equinox did not open something external. It activated something internal. And now that you have crossed this threshold, you understand you were never being led to a door. You were becoming it. So now you stand here not at an ending but at a beginning that carries infinite depth. And the invitation remains not as a question but as a calling that continues to echo through your being. Will you continue to walk this path fully, consciously, unapologetically? Because ascension is not a single moment. It is a way of being, a way of choosing alignment again and again, no matter what arises. And if you feel this truth resonating within you, if something inside you has awakened, shifted, activated through these words, then listen carefully because there is another doorway now available to you. Not separate from this journey, but an extension of it. A transmission designed to awaken not just your spirit but your relationship with abundance, with power, with the way your mind shapes reality itself. It is called How to Awaken the Rich Mind Within You. This is not just an audiobook. It is an initiation into a frequency many feel but few fully access. It is for those who are beginning to realize that true wealth is not something you chase. It is something you align with, something you unlock from within. If you have felt the shift, if you have recognized that you are no longer the person you used to be, then this may be your next step. Not because you are lacking anything, but because you are ready to expand into more of what has always been yours. You will find it waiting for you in the description and in the first pinned comment. But do not approach it casually. Approach it with the same awareness, the same presence, the same readiness you brought to this moment. Because what you receive from it will reflect the level at which you are willing to engage. And before you leave, anchor this moment. Leave your presence below, not as a habit, but as a declaration that you have heard the call and chosen not to ignore it. And subscribe, not as a simple action, but as a conscious step into continued alignment with this frequency, this path, this unfolding. Because this journey, it does not end here. It expands. It deepens. It transforms. And you are no longer standing at the door. You have become it.